Hello and welcome to Bespoke Unit. In today's video we're going to be reviewing the Macanudo Heritage Nuevo. As always, we're going to be using the Bespoke Unit Cigar Formula, so if you don't have time, please check the link in the description below where you'll be able to see that PDF version filled out, as well as a blank version if you want to do the review yourself. So without further ado, let's jump into this review. The cigar in question, I'm going to be reviewing the Toro size. This Macanudo Heritage Nuevo is kind of a take on the Macanudo Café. This one uses an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper as opposed to a USA Connecticut Valley Connecticut wrapper. It has pretty much the same binder and filler, but also includes a Nicaraguan filler leaf, which is supposed to give the blend a little bit more depth and flavor. As you can see, the majority of the cigar is going to be the band, so I'm going to take that off right now. And then when we come back, I'll give you some of my thoughts on the initial pre-light draw scents and smells. So we have the cigar out of the entire body band here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a dry draw as well as a smell of the cigar to get us started. There's definitely a very nice sweetness to it. I've smoked many of these cigars before, so I know it's a mild cigar. But even with that being said, there is definitely some nice flavors that are happening on the dry draw. Almost getting a figgy flavor, maybe a little bit of cedar and straw as well. Maybe kind of that little bit of raisin or date sweetness. But as I go to definitely do the draw, I'm definitely getting some fig sweetness in there, which is very nice. As for the smell, there's a cedary smell, kind of a straw smell, as well as maybe a very, very slight hint of barnyard. When we look at the cigar itself, there's a dull sheen to it. On this particular example, there are quite a few veins, but that's not very typical of the cigar as well. And it's quite firm along the body, but the draw is perfect. So with that being said, let's light this up and see what it tastes like. Okay, so we're a couple of minutes into the first third of the cigar here. It is worth noting that this cigar does take a few minutes to kind of kick in those flavors. Off the bat, I typically get kind of a bit of a char and toast flavor and not too many of the nuances of the cigar. But now that we're into it, I'm definitely getting some creaminess. Also getting some like cedary taste, as well as maybe a hint of grass. And on the retrohale, which I think is the most enjoyable part of this cigar, especially in the first third here, is there's citrus on the retrohale as well. As of all our cigar reviews, these cigars have been prepared and stored with 69% Boveda pack for New World cigars like these, and we do the 65% for Old World cigars as well. So I'll let this cigar warm up a little bit and we'll get into the second third, and I'll see you in a few minutes. So I thought, as I'm waiting here to go between the first and second third, we'll take a little bit of a closer look at the box itself. You can see this nice presentation box. We see the yellow wood, as well as this nice map of Ecuador, which is a nod to where the Connecticut wrapper is actually grown. You can also see on the box here that this is kind of a boutique release. So this is box 1088 of 2300. This is probably my fourth box of this series. When we actually go to open the box itself, you're presented with a 10 count cigar here, so I've only got 4 left, obviously using the Boveda pack for moisture control. In the lid of the box, we've got a little bit of information about the leaf and what Macanudo is trying to do with this blend. One thing to note is that when you do open the box, you do get a nice hit of cedar. So I do believe that this is a solid wood construction box and is using a very nice aromatic wood for that. Other nice touches on this box include the custom Macanudo hinges, which I always think is good. We've got a little magnetic close as well as more Macanudo branding on the edge of the box. This is also good to note. This is the 2019 release of this cigar. So I just wanted to comment a little bit on the construction of this cigar. Every cigar I've had from this range has had fantastic draws, so no issues there. Burn line, actually, it always happens with the one that you review. The burn hasn't been ideal on this one. We have got a little bit of a wave, but I'm not going to touch it up to see how it does pick up. Ash quality is good. As you can see, there's a decent backbone there. Temperature of the smoke is fantastic. It's not a huge smoke output, and there's not a great amount of mouthfeel and duration after you've drawn on the cigar. But again, this is a mild cigar, so some people may prefer this, as well as you know, when we get onto occasions later on, it may be a good morning option as well because of that. So here we are, we're well into the second third. I got a good couple, maybe 2.5 inches of ash before it fell off. The flavor profile has slightly evolved as we're now into the second third. I'm still getting the creaminess, still getting the cedar. I've lost that slight note of grass, but I've also picked up a touch of nuttiness, maybe an almond nuttiness. The retrohale is still very nice, almost approaching now kind of a lemon citrus, which again is one of my favorite parts about this cigar. So I'm gonna keep on smoking it, and let's see how we go into the final third. So who is this cigar potentially good for? On what occasion is it good for as well? As a mild cigar, I believe this is good for 1 in the morning, or 2 for someone who is just getting into cigars. It doesn't necessarily want a super heavy, full-bodied cigar that's a spice bomb. So I have seen some reviews where people complain about how light and nuanced the flavor is. However, that may suit some people, and I particularly enjoy this cigar in the morning for myself as well. As for pairings, as it is such a light cigar, I would say that for me, it's going to be in the morning, basically with a cup of tea or a latte, and maybe even drinking some water as well, so as to not to overpower the blend and really enjoy it. Because one of my favorite things I mentioned earlier is definitely the citrus note on the retrohale. So again, you've got to know what you're getting into with this cigar. It is a mild, maybe mild plus cigar. So just make sure you're pairing it for the right audience, the right time of day for that as well. With regards to occasion, I think this runs the gamut. I think the presentation is fantastic, so it can be used in a more formal setting for people that are maybe new to cigars, that don't want such a heavy blend, as well as because of the price point, you can maybe pare it down like I do for a morning cigar as well. So we're into the final third here. As you can see, I've got another nice ash going on this cigar. I'm still getting those cedar and creamy notes in the cigar, but as I've smoked probably about 30 of these today, I've got a pretty good understanding of what's going to happen from here all the way down to the nub. Still getting that nice citrus retrohale. Towards the nub, you're going to get some more kind of toasty char flavors, and it's definitely worth noting that this is a cigar that you do not want to over smoke, as you will get char the whole way down. So it's definitely one you want to pick the right size vitola for, take your time, and really enjoy the light, nuanced flavors that this cigar has to offer. So I just wanted to wrap up this video with a little bit of a conclusion on this cigar. First of all, we'll talk about the finish. The finish is quite short in the mouth, as you'd expect from a more mild cigar, but there is a slight evolution as you do smoke this cigar. We're always going to have that undertone of cedar and creaminess. We start off with a little bit of grass at the beginning, then into a slight bit of nuttiness, as well as always retaining that citrus retrohale. If you do smoke it all the way down to the nub, there is definitely going to be a bit of a char or toast flavor towards the end, and this is a cigar that you're definitely going to want to take your time of smoking and not over smoking, because if you do that, you're going to get a lot more of that char and toast and lose that creaminess as well. The recommended retail price for this Toro cigar is around about $12. However, you can find it online for $6.50 a cigar. Due to YouTube regulations, I can't say where you can get that, but it is a retailer based in Philadelphia with an online shop. This cigar is definitely one that's going to stay with my humidor. I probably will pick up a couple of additional boxes. It does come in 2 additional vitolas to this, which is the Robusto side, which is a 5x50, as well as a Churchill, which I believe is 7x48, but I have to check that as well. Overall, this is a very pleasant mild cigar that would be great for the morning, as I usually smoke it, as well as an introduction to someone who's maybe getting into cigars that maybe isn't used to overpowering, and also may want to test out their palate to pick up some of the nuances and evolution of the cigar as it happens. Well, with all that being said, I hope you liked this video. Please do so if you did, as well as subscribe to the Bespoke Unit channel and turn on those notifications. With all of that being said, my name is Paul Anthony, and I'll see you in the next one.